Hey guys, it's Red. Thanks for checking out my channel. So I try to keep a copy of every video that I work on. Sometimes I can't find them, but I do my best. And it's not like I watch them all the time, so let's watch them together and piss off all the people that employ me. Please don't hate me. This first one is actually the first video I ever did, which is Chosen Jacob's phone tag. I don't really remember this job that good, so there's not that much for me to really talk about. But I remember that I set the camera way too high. I didn't have a way to fix problems that I had to deal with, so it made the job much more difficult on me. And like first jobs, I was super exhausted at the end of this. I remember having a hard time putting batteries away, like because they were on the charger on the floor. It really hurt for me to bend over and pick them up. And yeah, that needed to go away. All right, Ava Hacks, FIFA 21. I got the call about this job the day before, and I didn't ask any questions because I don't particularly care that much as long as it pays. It really pisses off my family because they want to know if I'm doing something interesting. But I get the call sheet, and it turns out that we're at the stadium, which I mean isn't the average location. So I'm excited about shooting it, and luckily I've shot there for concerts. I used to shoot a lot of concerts, and so I knew the stadium pretty well. So I knew my way around the back hallways, and I knew where to park in the good spot. He actually was really great to work with. He was really friendly and like very professional, which is sometimes surprising when it comes to some celebrities. It's kind of a crapshoot. I'm so glad they kept this wraparound shot in there. I feel like I nailed the timing on this, and I think we only did it like twice.
Yo, what are you doing? It's time to get to practice. All right, so today we're going over there.
This is a fun job, but man, it was hot out there. I feel like I went through like 30 Gatorades on this one. We also couldn't keep the dock on the field. You had to put everything off the field because they didn't want anything to get damaged. So there was a lot of walking back and forth when I wanted a dock or handing it off to like an AC or something like that. All right, next up, Ian Dior Pretty Girls. The opening of this video I really like. It gets to show a lot of Steadicam work, which I feel like is kind of rare.
Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
It's probably about to be fire.
Oh, what's going on?
I had shot with that actor, the guy in the white shirt, in the past on just some like personal practicing videos, so I just thought it was funny to run into him again. So when I was shooting this, I had no idea he was going to throw that bottle. It scared the shit out of me. I thought it was a real bottle at first, and I was like, oh my god, did he plan to do that? Did we just damage the door? What's going on? We'll just skip the rest of that video because somebody else shot the first day of it, so I actually only did really the beginning of it and like a few other shots. So next up is Julia Michaels' Lie Like This, and it premiered on the Jimmy Fallon Show. I also only shot half of this video, so let's skip to where I actually started.
But beautiful once you break through, yeah, he says I'm daydreaming about leaving for no reason.
I love the black, white, red thing they did with this, and it was actually like that in the viewfinder. They had put a custom LUT in it, so it actually looked like that on my monitor, which is really cool. She was really professional too, and all these movements in the seats were actually choreographed dance moves. I kind of figured she would just do this, but they were super planned. She would do it exactly the same every time. So like I could actually plan for moving the camera, framing her, because I knew she would lean in and out at the same spot every time. You can see there's a little jitter in that tilt up in the beginning. And that's because at this time when I was working, I actually would just make the cameras as light as possible. And I learned from this job that light isn't necessarily good. It lets you work longer, but if I extended the camera and made it heavier, I would have been way better off. Next is the Nicki Guess Originals Pandemonium video. So parts of this video were actually shot at 6 frames per second, which shows up on my monitor at 6 frames per second. So it just looks like weird, jittery. So it's very hard to make a smooth movement like that because like you can't even really tell where you're framed half the time. We shot this on like a cement ground, and the fog or the mist or whatever, I can't tell the difference, created a layer over it that was super slippery. So I had to walk very carefully each one of these steps, which kind of worked because it sort of forced me to go slower than I would normally. I wonder how many cross dissolves there are in this video. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the weird mirror thing. So they had built this box with 3 mirrors and a mirror floor to do like infinite mirrors thing. But finding a spot where I wasn't visible in the mirrors was incredibly difficult because basically everywhere you're in the mirrors. But I found a spot. It was only a few inches wide, but I mean, there it is. Next one up is Rich Brian live from NBA 2K Fest.
Hey, I've been hurting trying to face the world and find the people that I gotta save. I've been trying to find the beauty in it, been like 27 days. I wanna say that it's all good, but I'm trying not to tell a lie. I've been thinking that it may be time to tell myself that
Look at all those flares. I mean, they have a ton of lights going, plus we're using anamorphic lenses, obviously, so it makes all those crazy streaks. I actually really like the way it looks. So when I'm shooting this video, it doesn't sound like this at all. You can hear him singing, but there's no music at all. So I actually asked for an in-ear monitor, the same as like what he's wearing now, so you can hear the music. And it doesn't sound at all like this. It sounds like weird clicks, and there's like reminders like this part of the song's coming next, and like weird things like that. So it's just not what you expect it to sound like, but it was my first experience with like the same thing they're listening to while they're doing the performance. And then obviously I can hear him singing because I'm only like a foot away from him. This first video is Supernatural by Trippie Redd. And if you're thinking to yourself, did anybody make that Red joke, that Red connection? Yeah, everybody did. So this was a weird gig to show up to. I thought it was just gonna be like a factory or something, but it turned out it was a storage warehouse for like movie production cars. So there were like hundreds of cop cars and like a weird tank over here and like a blown up BMW over here. So very cool, kind of Hollywoody cinematic job to start out at. I did make a BTS video on this video already, so I feel like I shouldn't spend too much time on it, but there were some interesting things about it. Like they had every kind of cool camera there is. They had a Bolt, a robot camera, they had a drone, they had a Steadicam, they had a jib, like basically every kind of cool camera they had on this job. I don't remember what time this job actually started, but it was a nighttime job. Like we started at 6 p.m. and we worked until like 6 a.m. Like it was pretty exhausting the next day. I had to take a nap, obviously, and I mean, I didn't book the next day for work, so it was fine. Next up is Buzzed by Bennett. There's not really that much to talk about. I already made a video about working in the small spaces, which I feel like is a really interesting attribute about this video. But within the first 15 minutes of the job, the director was talking to me about like camera placement and moves and stuff like that, and a bird shit like an inch from him. And then about 10 minutes later, a bird, I guess the same bird, hates us, shit on the DP, and it hit him and it landed all over the director's monitor. And so I think he had to get a costume change for the rest of the day because he was covered in it. This set though was very much like how you picture working in the film industry when you're a kid, where it's like random spaceman, random like nerd character, caveman, I don't know. Next up is Starter Kit by Checkzone. This one had 3 different sets. The first one we showed up to was a police station, which is really cool. And it's not only a police station at this location, they also had like a doctor's office, an insane asylum, a school, things like that. And it's also the same place that Instagrammers will pretend they're on a private jet because they have a set like that too. The next set was just a generic studio, but they had built a set with all the holes going through it so that it had that cool backlit streaky thing. And then the third set was this beautiful house, which was quite a drive away, but I feel like pretty worth it. Like really beautiful house. This next video is Gone by Child, and I had originally taken this job. It was a little bit lower paying than I would normally accept, but they had mentioned early on that it was going to be mounted to the back of a truck. And I was not only excited about doing that for an Instagram video, which I actually had in the contract that I was allowed to do, but I'd actually only ever done a vehicle mounting at the Gold Workshop, which is like the Steadicam training classes they offer. So I wanted to be able to rig my own gear to it to kind of deal with those bugs when they would give me a little bit more time with a nicer crew before a larger job wanted me to do it. When you're attached to a truck too, and you're holding on to the rig, it feels a lot like you're going 1,000 miles an hour, even though you're actually probably going like 20. So we went through these mountain roads pretty fast to me, but I bet everybody else would be like, yeah, we were going really slow because we had somebody attached to the back of it. What a beautiful car this was. Although it was definitely a movie car, which means that it's like a little bit more beat up than you would expect a personal car to be. So I ended up really loving this crew and ended up doing a couple other projects with them. So let's check out another video by Child. This one is Eventually. So the first time I actually saw this video was the first time I ever heard this song, which is pretty unusual because usually you hear the song 1,000 times all day long. But in this case, we had played it in fast forward so that we could slow down the footage so that it would be in slow motion, but he would still be able to sing to the song. So it actually sounds like chipmunks singing the song the way I heard it all day, but it sounds a lot better like this. This was another concept that was very difficult to explain to me in the time. They had mentioned that he was going to be hitting himself with a car, and I had no idea what that meant. So I just shot whatever they told me to do, basically, right? And especially when there's VFX involved, you don't want to start doing things on your own. Although I did do a few shots just because I knew we had extra time and I could do kind of my own thing without getting in trouble. This next one is Jambi Time. So it's a commercial that I don't know about you guys, but I see on Instagram all the time. And it was a lot of fun to do. I did it with a company called Bacon and Eggs Media. And they make very cute, like very fun commercials. And I really enjoyed working on it. This confetti shot took a few takes to do. Obviously we couldn't do it a million times, but there is a lot of coordination that goes into a shot like this because like the confetti has to go off at the right time. I have to pull back at the right time. A lot of the lighting changes happen at the same time. Obviously they're falling back at the same time. So there's a lot of things that coordinate to make this shot work. Even though it seems kind of simple, it's really not. So thanks for watching the videos with me. I really enjoyed watching them and I hope that you enjoyed them too. If you liked it, please leave a like down below and comment because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm to get people to see more of these videos. And if you liked this video, you'll probably like some of these other videos too. So please watch some more. Thank you.